Oh,
Hello.
hey.
How do you have like there's people? Oh, there's.
What? Did it start? Okay. we start.
Wait, no, it's like that.
I'm kind of blind. Could we turn the camera away? I don't want to see how I look like.
That it's delayed, so don't always focus on this. By the way, it's like
Oh, it's good.
We
Hi guys.
Hello.
3, 2, 1.
Hi,
This
guys.
is group 5 of
We're going to be talking about. We're in lesson 4. Lesson 4. We're going to be explaining about how do you write a thesis statement. Intro.
intro. So, where's the intro? Oh.
Can they hear us properly? Hello?
Is the mic working? Are we sure?
yes. It's just delayed.
Okay.
Oh, they both work.
Okay, again, we are group. I forgot what our group
5.
we are. Okay.
Okay.
Our lesson is about writing a thesis statement, and we're going to tackle about the definition of a thesis statement, how to formulate a thesis statement, the characteristics of a good thesis statement, and guidelines to making a thesis statement. Now, before we start, can anyone in the comments tell me what is a thesis statement? Like, if any of you can understand what it is.
Come on, chat.
The spice of you.
So, guys, what is a thesis statement?
If you were listening during Filipino last quarter, and if you were there in my group, it was about thesis na pahayag. That was basically thesis statement. What could you understand from it? To the ones listening last time. If you didn't listen, oh, I'm so sad.
Guys, we need answers. Be
The
serious.
general idea, sabi doon, Kyle Nabi Ula. So yes, it is the general ideas. What else? What else? Who can tell me more? Tell me more. Where the claim is written. All right. So thesis statement. It's going to be tackled here. More information by Muhammad.
Okay. So, how do I move this? Okay. Okay. So, a thesis statement is the central idea of an essay, around which all other ideas revolve. So, it says that a thesis statement is the central idea. So, it carries the main point of the essay. It gives out the main points, the important parts of the essay. So, it is the most or one of the most important parts. So yeah, it gives us the idea of how the essay would go and what are we going to tackle in the essay. And yeah, so it controls the essay by determining what you should or should not include in your work. In one sentence, it reveals and summarizes the argument you intend to develop and defend. It reflects your purpose for writing. It is a constant reminder of your main point. Yes, that's what I said. Directing the entire flow of your writing. It is not the subject or topic itself, but rather the interpretation of the topic. Yes. Okay, so yeah, what else I can say is that it is the most important, gives us the idea on what we're gonna tackle, and yeah, it gives us the introduction kind of to the. It's right after the introduction. Like once the introduction ends, we're gonna find the thesis statement. It gives us the idea of what we're gonna tackle. Yes. Was-
Hi, chat. So next we have formulating a thesis statement. How do you formulate a thesis statement? Well, here in the presentation, it was said that the thesis statement comes as the result of pre-writing. So last lesson before this was lesson basta Lian's lesson was talking about pre-writing, about you gathering ideas, brainstorming, and all that. And after pre-writing, you are going to formulate a thesis statement na. With after all the brainstorming you did and the research, you are going to formulate a thesis statement. So how do you do that? It's going to be discussed, and then the questions here are going to help you how to formulate a thesis statement. And when you are formulating a thesis statement, kasi, since you know thesis is about defending, right? And then you need to have a topic about it. And your thesis should have something that readers would argue about, something that they would be interested in, and which will require you, who is formulating a thesis, to find more evidences that would support your thesis statement. And you have to present this in a logical manner. And Angelou will be here to talk more about how you will formulate a thesis statement.
So basically, when you formulate a thesis statement, here are questions that can help you in finding one. First, what main idea does most of my pre-writing support? As discussed by Kylie, um, about pre-writing, it's going to be very essential in your research. Next, what are the relationships that exist among my ideas? Basically, what connects them together, especially in brainstorming. Yeah, exactly. Pre-writing strategies. After that, you'd have to connect them all to see if you can try to find what your thesis statement is going to be and what idea your paper is going to revolve around. Which aspect of the topic seems to be given the most detail? So in thesis statement, you'd have to be very focused on the topic. Which aspect of the topic seems to be given the most detail? You'd have to choose a topic that would choose a part of the topic that you're going to focus on, because a lot of research and a lot of papers are going to be very specific, especially when it comes to your titles. Next, where does my stand seem to be the most consistent? Where does the stand seem to be the most consistent? And what is the focus of exactly? What is the focus of the
Most interesting.
most interesting and significant points of my pre-writing? Like what was discussed earlier, what connects all of your pre-writing, what connects all the ideas from your pre-writing done, like what connects them together, and what is the main focus, what's the main idea of it, and lastly, what ideas should I do research on?
Yes.
Next one. Whatever thesis you come up with initially is called a working thesis statement. Just like how when you're writing an essay, or let's say you're writing sulating pangwakas, you'd have to do a draft first. So that's similar with working thesis statement. It's called working thesis statement because you'd have to um, you'd have to it's called a working thesis statement because you'd have to revise the thesis statement. That's why it's called working, because it's still in progress. Let's take for example this thesis statement about ROTC program. High school seniors become more responsible because of joining the ROTC program. Now, agree with me, yes or no? Is there anything wrong with that thesis statement? Yes or no? Again, is there anything wrong with the thesis statement? Yes or no? Okay, Kyle said yes. So when when writing a thesis statement, again, you'd have to be very specific with what you're going to put. So it says here, high school seniors become more responsible because of joining the ROTC program. And while you're doing your research on that, you realize that there's more to just becoming responsible, or there's more to just joining the ROTC program to make high school seniors become more responsible. That's why you can narrow it down. Again, the keyword narrow, or become more specific with your topic, is to make it into high school seniors who join the ROTC program develop better leadership skills because of the discipline instilled in them by the program. Essentially, it sounds like the first statement, but more expanded because you become more specific with your topic. So you realize that it's not the ROTC program that makes high school seniors become more responsible. Instead, it would be the discipline that was instilled in them. So creating a thesis statement results from looking at your paper's general subject, and narrowing it down to something specific. A helpful way to decide if your thesis statement is too broad or too narrow would be to go back to your pre-writing and draft a list of the contents of your essay. Adjust your thesis statement accordingly to reflect majority of the contents and the requirements of the essay. You can also look at your general subject and ask a specific question about it. Just like how, if you, for example, diba, you're looking at the general subject of high school seniors become more responsible because of joining the ROTC program. You'd have to ask the question: Does it really? Is it really the ROTC program that makes us more responsible, or is it really the, or is it is it is it that does it work that way, that like when you join the ROTC program? Yeah, basta. You'd have to ask specific questions so you could make a better topic. And the next one would be how the characteristics of a good thesis statement, which will be discussed by.
Kylie and Jasmine. Okay. So, here in the characteristics of an effective thesis statement, we're going to be talking about how to make your thesis statement like effective already for your readers, and how to make it strong when you are making the thesis na. So first will be
Okay. So first,
that's not working.
oh, responds to the assignment by following instructions. Going back to the instructions can assure you that your thesis statement is relevant and addresses what your teacher has prescribed. It can also refocus your argument if needed. So basically, with your response to the assignment by following the instructions, you make a neat thesis statement, and it addresses main points for your entire topic. So it makes it more organized, more easy for people to understand or to see your point of view or your view on the certain topic that you're talking about. Okay. Do I talk about it?
Yes.
Okay. Next, expresses the main idea in one or two sentences. A thesis statement should be comprehensive yet concise because you will be spending the rest of the paper proving your point. So basically, when expressing the main idea in one or two sentences, you are basically creating your whole point in your thesis statement. So if you are going to be using your whole entire essay or statement paper, whatever, you need to make sure you make your own, you at least have one or two sentences that just show what you're trying to prove, so people could know and understand what are you talking about, what are you proving for, to make a person just understand your topic more. So yeah.
Okay. The third one is it focuses on a specific issue. Your thesis statement should be sufficiently narrowed based on the boundaries of the assignment and should only discuss one or a few related issues so that your paper remains focused and you do not ramble or leave some parts undeveloped. So when you are making your thesis statement, you shouldn't focus on only one thing, or like you shouldn't focus on like just one issue kasi you might leave some parts in your paper undeveloped. You need to be explaining most of it while still focusing on the topic talaga. And you can, since you are gathering evidences for your research, you are gathering evidences for your thesis to be strong. It's good to have evidences and like mentioning some parts of the issue in your topic, but you should also always go back to your main topic to explain more about it so that you won't leave some part of it undeveloped. And then fourth we have, it states a stand on the topic. A thesis statement must reveal your attitude towards the topic. When you're explaining your thesis, you need to be prepared kasi it said here that you need to have an attitude towards the topic. And this will show how you intend to interpret or discuss the issue. When you are discussing your thesis statement, you need to be really familiar with it. You need to be able to discuss it well, and you need to really be familiar with it so that whatever question your readers or your audience would have, you will already have an answer to that. And how you are talking about your thesis statement kasi. When you are in front and you are talking about your thesis statement, you cannot be shallow. You cannot be like parang dead when you are talking about it. You need to have like a good personality and attitude towards it. So that like an attitude that is able to persuade your audience. And then your attitude helps you elaborate on a topic because there is only so much that can be said about something so factual. So I believe that in a thesis statement, it should have your opinion. The person who is making the thesis statement should have their opinion, and at the same time, they will have like a research that is factual that would connect to their opinion as well. Next, we have. Okay, just wait. Is it my part? Okay. Say something meaningful by answering the questions so what, how, and why. A good thesis statement shows why the reader should care about your work by answering questions. So it said here, of course, you don't want your thesis statement to be boring. You need your thesis statement to have like something entertaining and meaningful for your readers because not a lot of people likes to read, especially if everything is just words and there's no picture. And in your thesis statement kasi, in your paper, like from what we're learning in practical research, sir said that we shouldn't put everything in one paper. Like one paragraph is like everything as a paper. You should be answering some questions like which the audience or readers would think of. For example, our topic is about senior high school students in STEM, and you need to like answer questions about why are we talking about this, so that we can maybe talk about how are they doing in their academics. Are they okay? Is it exhausting for them? And then so what? Why are we talking about this? What about the students? Why should I care? Well, of course, students, you should care about how they are doing because this will be whatever they are learning at senior high is going to benefit them in the future. So there's that. Next, Jasmine.
Let's go, Cup. Okay. Previews the rest of the essay by being placed in the introduction. A thesis statement is usually placed in the introduction so that the reader knows what to expect in reading your essay. So in this part of a thesis statement, it's usually what catches your reader's attention. It's what makes a person interested in what you are writing and what they want to read. So it's usually placed in the introduction because it's the beginning of whatever they're going to read. So of course, it's going to catch their reaction. If you're going to put your thesis statement like in the end or whatever, it has no point because like, you're reading it, but you don't really know exactly what you're reading. So it makes everything, a little complicated. You won't understand what you're really supposed to get out of that essay. So you always need to, it's basically like a title, when you find a book and then you read the title and it just catches your interest a lot, that is what makes you, that's what, wait, what's the word? Starts with a P. Persuades you to read the book. Next. Okay.
I like Jasmine's part about previews the rest of the essay by being placed in the introduction, because if you just have a title, like that's like just the title, for example, senior high students, so that's like very plain. So in your introduction, like what Sir Chris told us, na parang you need to have like your title, and then below it is the like a descriptive part of it, so that it's also introducing what you are going to talk about in your paper. And then for my part, reflects a tone and point of view appropriate to the identified purpose and audience. Your thesis statement should consider the writing situation you find yourself in. This requires thinking about why you are writing and who are you writing for. So you need to understand and care for your audience as well, because if you are writing a thesis statement, you need to make sure that your audience or your readers will be able to be interested in it. For example, you are writing a thesis statement maybe at school, so it needs to be like for our grade 11, since we are doing practical research, our topic is supposed to be connected for senior high students. It needs to, so Sir Chris is like, he made it like appropriate for all of us, so that he'll know the perspective of each students, on what topic they will think of that is connected to senior high students. And when you are writing your thesis statement kasi, so that it will be effective, you need to like at least let your audience relate to the topic. For example, my group in practical research, we thought about what was that topic? It was about passion versus practicality, and then that's like an issue in the senior high department students, because they're not sure like which course are they going to get in the future, because of like the pressure from the parents. Now you should take this, but what they really want is something else. That's like that's what they're passionate about. And then so your thesis statement should like be about what your situation is, like the situation now, so that it could like solve then. So, and then next we have the guidelines about the thesis statement.
Before we move on, to that, we have questions to be answered by Sir Romel. Sir Romel asked, you want-
I will answer this one.
okay, participation. If we ignored this question. Participation in the ROTC program in senior high school fosters increased responsibility among students through a combination of discipline training, leadership development, and a sense of civic duty. Is this a good thesis statement? I personally do believe that this is a good thesis statement, because it doesn't go on in a general aspect about why ROTC is beneficial for senior high school students. In just one sentence, it explains, it lists down the things that benefit them, and that's why it's a good thesis statement, because it it has all the characteristics of a good. It has the characteristics that we just discussed kanina.
Yes. Okay. So before we continue with the guidelines, we're going to answer the questions that we got. Okay. So, how important is a thesis statement in an essay? So, like I mentioned in one of what I just talked about, it's basically having like a title, it's having a point in what you want to read. So, what in your essay, it basically just talks about or proves your point in your thesis statement. Your thesis statement is like, like I said, a title. It makes a person like, it's either they agree or disagree to the topic that you're talking about. And then they like, if without the thesis statement, they will know whether to, actually have interest in reading your essay whatsoever. It's basically a title to catch your audience. Okay, so an essay is basically, it has its purpose to just prove the point of a thesis statement. So, yeah, yeah. Never mind. Yes. So that's it. It's very simple. And also, Adrian, what type of audience do we usually target when making a people who it's either people that wants to,
No,
if they want to know about your essay, engage or like be educated on your topic. Adrian, that was kind of not a good question. That was not really a good question. Like, give us something better. Like, like, yeah, like who you wouldn't be making any sort of essay if you have no one to, whatever. The people who listens are your type of people. If you want to, be educated on your topic or learn more about it, those are your people. So, yeah, yeah. Okay. So yeah.
Okay, there's another question from Sir. Is this statement a crucial component of an essay? Yes, I do believe the thesis statement is crucial because when you are writing a thesis statement, it needs to be concise and clear. So parang when you are talking about that, you need to be like declaring something about, you need to be like declaring your presentation, and it's like talking about an argument. And then since the thesis statement is like, it controls the topic na din, it is crucial. And then, yeah, yun lang. Who's next? Oh,
Okay,
the
to add-
guidelines. You can add.
Okay, to add more, it is crucial. What they said, yes, it is very beneficial. It's crucial, and it is important to have a thesis statement, because um, it's going to be the central idea. It's going Everything you're going to write down in your essay is going to revolve around that idea, and it's kind of like an anchor on how you're going to properly make an effective and interesting essay or paper. Also, I wanted to add about the reason why the reason why thesis statements are usually at the introduction. Of course, what Jasmine said, it captures the attention of the audience. Captures the attention of the reader, and if we it's basically the main idea you're going to be, if you like, when you think about it logically, when you're reading a really long paper, really long essay, you'd want to know what the whole thing is about immediately. So basically, if it would capture the attention of the thesis statement, would capture your attention, and that would basically, since the thesis statement is also about the attitude of the writer towards the topic, it's basically, and also like kind of like a persuasion for the writer, or the author, about the essay that they want to put to their audience. If we put the reason why it the reason why it's there, it's to make it more, to make it capture your audience, is because when you put it at the, for example, if you put it at the end, it would be kind of tiring for the audience, because they would be reading a lot and then they finally get what they're saying. If you put it at the top, they would get the main idea, and the more they read, they would get why you were able to, why you were able why the writer was able to make that statement, because it would, yeah. Is it necessary? Wait, I can't see that. Is it necessary that the thesis statement be at the beginning of the essay? Yes. Well, in all case, it doesn't. Not in some cases, it could be not at the beginning, because it says here a thesis statement is usually placed, but it is essential to put it at the very beginning, as I just discussed earlier. If you put it at the very at, like, for example, at the end, the at the very at the introduction, if you put it at the end, then when the reader reads the introduction, they would have no idea like what the author's point of the essay is, and they'd have to read a lot. That would be boring. And it basically puts it basically allows the reader to understand your point that easily. The choice of where to place the thesis thing depends on the writer's preference, the nature of the essay, and the desired rhetorical effect. Regardless of its placement, the thesis statement should be clear, specific, and provide a roadmap for the reader to understand the essay's main point of your argument. Thank you, sir. Now, next is the guidelines. This would be our last topic before we would do an activity. Guidelines to making a thesis to writing a thesis statement. First, avoid making overly opinionated stands. Be careful not to go to the extremes and write a thesis statement with an exaggerated claim. Don't avoid imposing your opinion on the reader. If you have your book right now and go to page 56, the part where more guidelines on writing thesis is, there's an example here. This is about the ROTC and how it affects students. If you were to write this, if you were to see this and the example, and if you were to check someone's thesis statement, and what's written is, the officers of the ROTC are merciless slave drivers who abuse their fellow students, you would be shocked, because that's a very exaggerated, and also that could hurt. That could be also false. It's not entirely true about the ROTC statement. So instead, if the writer kind of dislikes the ROTC, or how their discipline is being implemented, they could say, instead of saying that the officers are merciless slave drivers, they could say that they're kind of irresponsible when it comes to their teaching. So instead of saying that exaggerated statement, they could just say, the officers of the ROTC should exercise more responsibility toward their authority by being sensitive to how they lead their fellow students. So the idea of the first statement already shows. The idea of the first statement is already shown in the new and revised thesis statement, but it doesn't exactly be direct to how or like be offending to the reader or to the targeted audience, or the target, or basically about the topic. So you'd have to be more careful about your words. Don't be too overly opinionated. Don't be so exaggerated with your claim, because because you would need enough proof in order to you need factual you need enough evidence, and a lot of evidence, in order to make sure your thesis statement is correct and also good. Now the next one.
Okay, so wait. Okay, so the next one is avoid making announcements. Sometimes it is easier just to tell your reader what you intend to write about. You might say, in this essay, I will be discussing the benefits of joining the ROTC. Statements like these don't specify the benefits and your attitude toward the subject. So what this basically means is that you shouldn't only announce while not giving them a heads up on what the announcement would be like. Like, for example, if you tell them, for example, Rayan, if she gives an announcement to the GC while we're all at home, she's gonna be like, announcement tomorrow for scouting or something, or if she actually says only announcement tomorrow, what do we expect for the announcement to be like? Are we gonna think that it's announcement for scouting or announcement for something else or blah blah? So yeah, we should be ready, and the announcement should like give details on what it's tackling, I guess. Yeah, so like for example, announcement tomorrow for scouting. So we know what to prepare. Like we'll bring our knickers, we're gonna wear our scouting uniform or whatever. Yeah. So, but like for example, you say announcement tomorrow at school, and then someone might not be prepared or something like that, and yeah.
Okay, to add on in Mohammed's part. Okay, so when avoid making announcements, kasi in a thesis statement, it's kind of very general and vague. If like an announcement is in the thesis statement, so what you have to do is kasi for example, another example, okay, for PE, I'm going to be writing an essay about the benefits of exercising. That's like announcement. I'm going to make an essay about the benefits of exercises. It's like an announcement then, but your thesis statement needs to be concise and specific. So it needs to be like something like um what exercises to do that will make your body healthier and help your mental state be more at peace, something like that. Like parang it describes more and it's more specific than just an announcement. So yeah, okay.
I'm back. Okay. Avoid stating only facts. Your attitude towards the topic allows it to be developed. Relying on facts only prevent you from discussing more about the topic. Your statement must contain a position that your readers can oppose. So basically, debatable. You won't really be able to formulate your own opinions. So that's one thing that makes it boring, because honestly, when you read anything, you always have your own perspective, your own views on what you read, right? So what's the point if you're gonna like read a book that's just full of facts? You may have your own opinion on whatever, but still it's really not debatable. That's what makes it, whatever. Um, can I have my phone cup? Uh, so yeah, you need your topic to at least be debatable, because honestly, if it's just gonna be facts, you won't be able to talk more about it, formulate your own opinions. No. So just like make it more like for other people, just avoid stating only facts, because like other people won't be able to rely on a certain type of thing that you just mentioned on your essay, your statement, which makes it like very boring, and it's so solid, so raw, like you can't really add more onto it, and it's like you can't discuss more about it. So yeah, like yeah.
And that ends it for our topic. If you have questions later na, we have an activity for. Oh, can you give me a good thesis statement out of this stack? World War II lasted from 1939 to 1945. 1939 to 1945. The world. Oh, I don't know much about the World War. The world, the Second World War lasted from 1939 to 1945. Second World War. Oh. I could say I'm not I don't know much about about World War II, but I could probably say the Second World War lasted how many years is 1939 to 1945?
6 years.
6 years? Lasted for 6 years? Okay. Basically, if I were to put it, I would say the Second World War lasted for some years. I'll put a number of years, not like the number, but I don't know how many numbers exactly due to because of like the factors of how it lasted that long. I'm not sure how to put it in a good thesis state in a good way. But thank you for that question, sir. So this would be next. Oh, so this would be an activity for everyone. Don't need everyone to no to start coming in. So instructions. There's only 4 questions. Don't worry. Instructions. Choose the strongest statement based on the topic given. So basically, just put the number. The devastating impact of World War II. The devastating impact of the Second World War on global geopolitics and the socio-economic landscape can be attributed to a complex interplay of political, economics, and social factors. Yes, I was right about that. Factor things that affected it. Now this would be for everyone. Just type the number of the correct answer. This would be topic. Which is the best statement out of all of them? Huh? Not yet. Statement out of all of them. This is about teacher pay. Number 1, teachers make less money than most people think. Number 2, this paper will explore the reasons why teachers across the country should be paid higher wages. Number 3, teachers have an important job of educating our children and should be paid higher wages to reflect the importance of this task. And okay. Huh? Okay. If choose, I'll wait for a bit until someone will answer. If no one, I can just ask my group mates. Number 1, 2, or 3? 2. Okay, just need 1. 2. Let's see if you're correct. Number 2. Now. So number 3 is the right answer. Because again, remember in the guidelines, don't make an announcement. So it says here, this paper will explore the reasons. That's like an announcement already. So it should be number 3 because it would talk about why teachers should be having higher wages. And yeah, number 2. Sorry.
Okay. So for number 2, vegetarian's diet. So among these 3 statements, which one do you guys think is like a stronger statement than the rest here? So the first one we have, this essay is about the reasons why you should consider a healthier vegetarian diet. Second, vegetarians lives from having healthier diets. And the third, a well-balanced vegetarian diet provides significant health benefits and Americans could benefit from becoming vegetarians. Okay, what do you guys think is the strongest thesis statement here?
What to mention these vegetarian diets
Yes.
talking about in the audience of American audiences. So what do you think? If you were an American,
Let's see. Measure.
Comment down below.
1, 2, or 3?
Oh, 1, 2, or 3.
Yeah.
Okay, since
Okay, let's ask Muhammad. What do you think is the correct answer?
let's say the number.
Oh.
Oh, sorry.
Here.
Yeah.
Camera froze.
Camera froze. Camera froze. Camera froze.
Yeah.
We said 3.
Number 3. Yes, that's correct. Congratulations.
Congratulations. It's a place. So
Keep going. Maybe.
Okay, the next one. What's the next one? Actually, freeze kasi yung camera. Eh. Okay. Number three is about anorexia. Anorexia nervosa has both emotional and social causes which work hand in hand. Number two, anorexia nervosa occurs most often in young women aged 13 to 22. And number three, there are many causes of anorexia nervosa. What do you guys think is the
So, based on based on the based on the statement and everything, you could see that number one is the right answer.
Okay.
What do you guys think? Wait. What do you guys think? Oh, style? Never mind. Oh,
All right, and last one is very quick. Increase in crime rate.
Okay, so increase in crime rate. This paper will talk about the rising crime increase and its causes. Number two, the recent increase in the rate of crime in the country is the result of political, social, and economic factors. Whatever. Number three, crime rate increase is the result of political problems in the country. What do you guys think? So,
What do you think?
actually, I answered. What do you think is the answer, Jasmine?
I think that the answer two. What did I say? I said two. So
Why?
Why do you think it's two?
why do you think it's two? Because it's more specific. It's giving you because it's more specific and it's giving you more ideas on what your essay is about
Oh,
and details. Yeah, it gives more
Yes.
details. That's like the point in that.
yeah.
Okay, that's the end of our presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
guys for listening. Tune in into the next episode. End it. End it. End it. End it.